Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doris and today's practice will be dedicated to postural alignment or to posture in general. A little intervention from the editing space. For some reason I lost 2 minutes of footage in the middle of the video, so I'm gonna be shooting them in here, so don't be confused if suddenly I change outfit, space and all of that, and then it will just continue as it is. So we're actually going to start standing and then join me whenever you feel ready. So posture is when we think of standing, but we also have it when we're seated or in any other upright position of the upper body. But let's actually start with a little standing alignment. So for this, I invite you just to bring the feet about hip-width distance apart. So give your pelvis a little bit of space that usually supports the lower back as well, rather than having the feet really close together. And then as you're standing, just relax the body, maybe just shake it out a little bit. And just notice in the feet, if there is any direction where you tend to put more of your weight towards. So it could be towards the toes, towards the balls of the feet. It could be more towards the heels. It could be towards the inner arches or towards the outer corners. So in my experience, tendencies are more likely either towards the toes or towards the inner arches. So just notice that. And then try to just gently correct it. So just bring the weight more towards the other side so that you feel slightly balanced. And already that can feel like suddenly you can notice your muscles turning on and supporting you. So just take note of that. Give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of time. And then bending the knees a little bit. So some people, myself included, tend to overextend the legs. So let's just find a gentle bend, keeping that distribution across the soles of the feet. And then one hand on the belly and one on the lower back. And now if you're thinking of overarching your lower back, and let's just do that for comparison. And then I invite you to kind of tuck your tailbone under, it's what we call, but it's kind of like you're pushing your bum ever so slightly forward, squeezing it a little bit, and it's sort of a rolling motion, pulling the belly inward a little bit. So now the lower back is a little more flat. So spreading the toes, distribution across the feet, knees bent, tailbone tugged. Just take note of how you're feeling in this very moment. Drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and then back. So we're just kind of bringing the shoulders ever so slightly back, a proud, a strong chest. Maybe opening the palms towards the front. Thinking of rising and growing tall with the crown of the head and yet still pulling the chin ever so slightly into the chest. So not completely, we don't want to have the chin raised, we just kind of want to have it so that we're just looking straight ahead without any angle really in the head. And just take note of that. Maybe you need to shift the weight, that's quite common in the feet. Taking a breath in, maybe squeezing the glutes and out. And then give yourself a shake. So this is more or less postural alignment. And it can be that, you know, this is something that when you're standing, you just focus on. And then it can mean that you start to bend the knees. For example, that's what I have to do. Or maybe sometimes squeezing your center. And it might feel like quite a lot in the beginning, but your body will get used to it. It's just usually your muscles or the default motion of your muscles is different. So it can feel like that's quite a lot. But in the beginning, just maybe, you know, twice a day, if you think about it, to do it, that will give you a great start. All right. So as we're standing here, let's just roll our shoulders up and back, or whatever direction you've chosen. We're going to switch it around in a minute. Just warming up the body. We're going to practice ways or poses that support the body in strength, but also in range of motion. Let's turn the circles around. Maybe just side out as well. It can mean that stress causes tension in the shoulders, in the upper back. And just give it all a shake, release the pose. Bending the knees and then placing the hands on your thighs and bringing the torso into a diagonal here. Standing cat-cow as you inhale, arching the spine, so bringing the belly a little bit more towards the front, and then drawing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, round, tugging the tailbone here, chin to chest. Inhale, starting that wave again, and exhale. So keep moving here. The legs might have to work more than they normally do in cat-cow, that's okay. Connect to your breath. Take this for 2 more rounds. And then rise again. Maybe bringing the feet wider than hip width distance, reaching the arms overhead. And then right hand grabs left wrist and just pull the wrist over. Going into the nice little side bend, opening the chest towards the sky here as well. Continue breathing, knees slightly bend. And then back to center, left hand for right wrist. And bring it over to the left side. Once again, open the chest towards the sky. Breathing in and out. Release, give it all a shake. Maybe you can already notice that you've moved your upper body. And then stepping more towards the front of the mat in a hip width distance stance, we're going into half sun salutation. So without stepping back, we're just gonna stay on our feet here. Hip width distance, gentle bend in the knees. Inhale, reach those arms up, maybe lifting the gaze. Exhale, bend the knees and let yourself melt over the legs. Head is heavy. Inhale to halfway lift, long spine. And exhale, melt over the legs again. Bend the knees generously. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. And exhale, maybe hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach. Squeeze those glutes. Exhale, bend the knees, thinking belly to thighs. And then releasing the head. Inhale, halfway lift, support yourself on shins or thighs. Thinking of one long line in the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach, squeeze those glutes. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And fold again. Bend those knees. One long back. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands. One last round here together. Inhale to reach. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And fold again. Grow tall, inhale. And let's just dive straight back down again. Continue with your own breath and your own time. And I really invite you to focus on your back. So whatever you can notice. Making sure the neck is loose whenever it can be. And then overthink not bending the legs too much. You're better off bending the legs and giving your back a bit more space and support rather than overextending the legs or just extending them to do so, but then rounding your spine. So prioritize your spine. We always do in yoga. So I invite you to do another full round and then stay folded. And when you're folded, maybe hold on to your elbows And sway side to side as you bend the knees, shaking the head no, and nodding it yes. Soft face, soft jaw. And then come back to center, bend those knees, bringing the hands to the ground. So maybe the belly is really now resting on your thighs, really spreading those fingers wide. And then step one leg back and then the other, finding downward facing dog. So the pelvis is rising towards the sky. Bend those knees, the feet are about hip width distance apart. And with your hands, think of pushing the ground away. Don't think about pulling the belly necessarily to the thighs or pushing the chest towards the legs. Just thinking about rising tall with your sit bones. We're going to take little down dog waves. So we work a lot with the pelvis, so let's just take it slow. And we start by lifting the heels more towards the front and then following along with the rest of the body until the shoulders are in line with the wrists, more or less. And then let's bend those knees, thinking of a cow lower back. And find your way back essentially into down dog. So inhale, start to lift the heels further. Rounding the back like cat. Till you find this kind of rounded plank. Bend the knees. And then heels go back and then the rest of the body follows suit. Inhale, lifting the heels, finding your plank, bending the knees, thinking cow, and down dog. Let's do 3 more in your own time, really exploring the body. This wave that takes over. I've lost count, so let's just do a final wave. And then let's meet in down dog. Looking towards the hands, just stepping them in 1 step with your hands. So you're in a more narrow dog. Bringing the weight more into the right hand so that you can release the left hand and reach for your right thin right shin, calf, whatever, and gaze past your right armpit, really pushing the right hand into the ground, drawing the left shoulder under, and then left hand comes back, shifting more towards the left, right hand reaches for your shin, foot, gazing past your left armpit. And finding your twist here. Then gently right hand steps back. And then bringing the knees down. Tops of the feet down. Let's just find a child's pose for a moment. Connecting to your breath. And then slowly returning to a tabletop position, bringing the knees parallel, the shins parallel, and then already allowing the lower back to arch, walking the feet as far back to the mat as possible, and then walking the hands out in front of you, allowing the back to sink towards the ground. Maybe the head comes down, maybe it doesn't, to find your puppy pose. And then let's become a little more active. So spreading those fingers, lifting off your forearms, taking a breath in, push the ground away. So arching the spine, keeping the knees, the hands where they are. Exhale, lower to the ground again. Inhale, push. Exhale, lower. continue breathing here, really feeling the strength in your body. And then last one. And return to your puppy pose. From here, push once again the ground away, but then allow the belly to come all the way to the ground. Maybe support yourself with your hands as a little pillow underneath the forehead. And then pushing up into Sphinx pose. So you're now on your forearms, really pushing the ground away from you. And then sliding your right leg out to the side into a little half frog. So knees at hip level, knees bent 90 degrees, foot faces out. Let's stay here just for a breath. And then we're trying, so just lifting both forearms away from the ground, maybe walk the hands a bit away, to thread the right arm underneath the body and bring the torso down. Maybe the left hand can serve as a pillow, or maybe you're more up here without really lowering down. That's perfectly okay wherever you are. Maybe walking the hand a bit further away from the foot, flipping the right palm upwards. 2 rounds of breath in and out. Then return to your Sphinx. Right knee in and left foot out. Find your little frog. And then come a little higher on your hand and thread that left arm underneath, and maybe a right hand serves as a pillow. Final breath in and out. And then push your way back to Sphinx. Bring that left knee in towards the body. Finding a really, really strong Sphinx, glutes engaged. Interlacing the hands, tugging the toes under, maybe bringing the elbows just underneath the shoulders. And then let's lift into a forearm plank. Maybe you have to change your footing a little bit. Strong core, gaze down. And then bring the knees in. Sit a little more towards the heels. Maybe open the knees a bit apart. And then allow the torso to melt to the ground. Reaching your arms away from you. Walking the torso over to the right, a little side bend into the left body, maybe left hand on top of right. And then through center over to the left to elongate the right side body, maybe right hand on top of left. And then come back to center. And maybe you want to stay in a child's pose, maybe you want to stay in a little seat, wherever you just like to take a moment to pause. Tune into the body. Three rounds of breath in and out. Slowly unraveling from a child's pose. Opening the eyes gently. And let's tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and then from here come into standing. I'd like to finish practice with one more time doing this little alignment. So stepping the feet apart. Maybe already noticing a difference here, perhaps not, and that's okay too, don't worry about it. Let's spread the weight a little more equal. Maybe that has already been done for you as your body memorized it or moved in a way. Maybe release some tension in the sole of the feet. Bending those knees, tugging the tailbone, relaxing the shoulders, growing tall, proud chest. Just take notice of how you're feeling here. Maybe bringing the hands together in front of the heart as you take a breath in and out to show gratitude towards body and mind. And I'd like to thank you for joining me on this practice today. I hope that you enjoyed this practice, and I hope that you can feel it in your posture in any kind of way. I definitely could feel a difference with my balance, for example, and you can come back to this practice whenever you need to. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please let me know in the comments how the practice was for you. I'd also really appreciate a like, as it helps my channel, my work to grow. And if you're more interested in content like this, you can check out my online yoga studio. Link is down in the description box below. 7 days for free, no strings attached, videos and live yoga in both German and English. And I hope you have a great day. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care.